Good morning, Soul Tribe, or afternoon or evening, wherever you may be. Thank you so much for being here. And this morning I was drawn to share a little bit of information from this book. This is a book I would suggest everybody puts in their library. As you can see, it's dog-eared and coffee stained, and this book has gotten a lot of love, and it's just because of how powerful the information within it is. So I wanted to give, a lot of people, we understand that our foundation is chemistry. We are alchemy. Alchemy, the alchemy tree of life. So a lot of people were asking me a lot about healing and different stuff. And this has been a very big foundation of how I put myself back together and how I found a lot of our issues is relating to these deficiencies that we carry in our body through mineral deficiencies a lot of the time. So these can have a lot of symptoms that show up in the body. And this is a really powerful way to start to get your body back on track. David Barry just got into the cell salts and was impressed by how fast his body responded and how fast he started healing his body and putting it back together when he wasn't having a lot of success outside of that. So, like I said, 90% of what we are is the mind. But we also have to understand how powerfully we are attached to nature and the alchemy of our system. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit about the relation of the mineral salts to the body and also their relation to the signs of the Zodiac. So, this is page 21 for those of you who do have the book or want to read along. This is by Dr. George W. Carey, and he wrote this regarding biochemistry. Acid and alkali, acting, proceeding and acting again, operating, transmuting, fomenting, in throes and spans of pain, uniting, reacting, creating, like souls passing under the rod. Some people call it chemistry, and others call it God. Biochemistry means that chemistry of life, or the union of inorganic and organic substances, whereby new compounds are formed. In its relation to so-called disease, this system uses the inorganic salts known as cell salts or tissue builders. The constant parts of man's body are perfect principles, namely oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, lime, iron, potash, soda, silica, magnesia, etc. These elements and gases are perfect, but may be endlessly diversified in combination as many of the planks, bricks, or stones within a building when it is to be erected. A shadow cannot be removed by chemicals, neither can disease be removed by poison. There is nothing, no thing, to remove in either case, but there is a deficiency to be supplied. The shadow may be removed by supplying light to the space that has been covered by the shadow. So symptoms called disease disappear or cease to manifest when the food called for is furnished. So the human body is a receptacle or a storage battery. Process that one deeply, guys. The human body is a receptacle or a storage battery, and it will always run well while the chemicals are proper and in present quantity and combination. As surely as an automobile will run when its battery is charged and it is supplied with the necessary ingredients to cause it to vibrate or put it into motion. Cell salts are found in all foods and are thus carried into the blood, where they carry on the process of life. And by the law of the chemical affinity, keep the humans into their form and holds bodily functions materialized. When a deficiency occurs in any of these workers through a non-assimilation of food or poor action of liver or digestive process, dematerialization of the body soon commences. So disease is deficiency in some chemical constituent that carry on the chemistry of life and not as entity. Wow. Wow. So disease is a deficiency of chemical constituents that carry on the chemistry of life and not an entity. Wow. Having learned that disease is not a thing, but it is a condition due to a lack of some inorganic constituent of the blood, it follows naturally that with the proper method of cure to supply the blood with what it is lacking in the treatment of disease, the use of anything not a constituent of the blood is unnecessary. Constituent is the word I'm saying there. Sorry about that, guys. Constituent. Tough word for me. So, Dr. Charles W. Littlefield, analytical chemist, now says, the 12 mineral salts are, in a very real sense, the material basis of the organs and the tissues of the body, and are absolutely essential to their integrity of structure and function activity. Experiments prove that the various tissue cells will rapidly disintegrate in the absence of the proper proportion of these salts in the circulating fluid, whereas the maintenance of this proportion ensues healthy growth and personal perpetual renewal. These mineral salts are therefore the physical basis of all healing. Regardless of the school employed, if these are absent from the blood and the tissues, no permanent cure is possible. And I have seen this to be true for myself. Many others have claimed the same. Esoteric chemistry. In this strenuous age of reconstruction, while God's creative compounds are forming a new race in the morning of a new age, all who desire physical regeneration should strive by every means within their reach to build new tissue, nerve fluids, brain cells, thus literally making new bottles for the new wine. For it be known to all men of the word, wine, as used in the scriptures, means blood. When used in conjunction with man, it also means the sap of the trees and the juice of the vegetables within the fruit. The parable of turning water into wine at the marriage of Cana and Galilee is a literal statement of a process taking place every heartbeat in the human organism. Wow. It's a literal statement of a process taking place at every heartbeat within the human organism. So within every heartbeat, you are transferring water into wine. Galilee means the circle of water or fluid. My husky agrees. The circulatory system. So Galilee means a circle of water or fluid, the circulatory system. Cana means the dividing place, the lungs. In the Greek, a place of reeds, or cells of lungs that vibrate sound. Biochemists have shown that food does not form blood, but simply furnishes the minerals base by setting free the inorganic cell salts contained within the food. All the sound effects. 12. And my puppy, she's agreeing. So the organic part, oil, fibrin, albumin, etc., contained in the food is burned or digested in the stomach and the intestinal tract to furnish motive power to operate the human machine and draw air into the lungs. Then into the arteries, i.e., air is the carrier. Therefore, it is clearly proved that air is spirit, and it unites with form, minerals, and blood, proving that the oil, the albumin, etc., found in the blood is created by every breath at the marriage at Cana of Galilee within your heart. The air was called the water, or the pure sea, the Virgin Mary. So we see how water is changed into wine, blood every moment. In the new age, we will need perfect bodies to correspond with the higher vibration or motion of the new blood, for the old bottles or bodies cannot contain the new wine. Another allegorical statement typifying the same truth reads, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, i.e., a new mind and a new body." Biochemistry may well say, with Walt Whitman, "To the sick lying on their backs, I bring help, and to the strong, upright man, I bring more needed help." To be grouchy, cross, irritable, despondent, or easily discouraged is prima facie evidence that the fluids of the stomach, the liver, and the brain are not vibrating at their normal rate, the rate that results in equilibrium or health. Health cannot be qualified, i.e., poor health or good health. There must be either health or dishealth, ease or dis-ease. We do not say poor ease or good ease. We say ease or dis-ease, not at ease. A sufficient amount of the cell salts of the body, properly combined and taken as food, not simply to cure some ache, pain, or extrudation, forms blood that materializes healthy fluids, flesh, bone, and tissue. We should take the tissue cell salts as one uses health foods, not simply to change not health to health, but to keep the rate of blood vibrating in the tone of health at all times. The ultimate biochemistry. The microscope increases the rate of motion of the cells of the retina, and we see things that were occulted to the natural rate of vibration of sight cells. Increase the rate of activity of the brain cells by supplying more of the dynamic molecules of the blood known as the mineral or cell salts of lime, potash, sodium, iron, magnesia, silica, and we see mentally truths we could not sense at a lower or natural rate of motion, although the lower rate may manifest ordinary health. Natural man or natural things must be raised from a level of nature to supernatural in order to realize the new concepts that lie waiting for the recognition above the solar plexus. That is above the animal nature of man. This is why above the solar plexus is the gate. And this gate is the gate between heaven and hell. Because heaven is the upper energy centers of the body, hell is the lower. The positive pole or being must be lifted up from the kingdom of earth or animal desire below the solar plexus to reach the pineal gland, which connects the cerebellum or the temple of the spiritual ego with the optic thalamus, the third eye. By this regenerative process, millions of dormant cells in the brain are resurrected and set into operation. And then man no longer sees through a glass darkly, but now with the eyes of spiritual understanding. To those who object to linking chemistry with astrology, the writer has this to say. The cosmic law is not in the least disturbed by negative statements of ignorant individual. These investigators of natural phenomena, who delve deeply to find the truth, pay little heed to the dabbler who says, I can't understand how zodiac signs can have any relation to the cell salts in the human body. The sole reason that he cannot understand is because he has never tried. A little earnest, patient study will open up the understanding of anyone possessed of ordinary intelligence and make plain the great truth of the universe. Universe is what the word implies, one verse. It logically follows that all parts of one thing are susceptible to the operation of any of its parts. The human body is an epitome of the cosmos. Each sign of the zodiac is represented by the 12 functions of the body and the position of the sun at the birth. Therefore, the cell salt corresponding to the sign of the zodiac and the function of the body is consumed much more rapidly than the other salts in the body. An extra amount is needed to supply the deficiency caused by the sun's influence at that particular time and space. It will permit only a brief statement of the awakening of humanity to the great occult truths. However, the following from India will indicate the trend of new thought. Dr. Carey's remarkable research in the domain of the healing art have left no stone unturned. Pardon my French. The discovery of the zodiacal cell salts has added an entire new page in the genesis of healing arts. The 12 cell salts of the zodiac, and the first is Aries, the Lamb of God. Aries is March 21st to April 21st. This is the time of the zodiac wheel of Aries. And I am an Aries, and this is my sign. So what I will do now is I will go ahead and stop this video here, and I will do a short video on each one of the signs so you can have an in-depth understanding, and you can always go just specifically to your sign and your sun sign. So there's a couple different signs you're going to want to look at this, your ascendant and also your moon, because these three powers have a strong effect within your creation. So for me, my strong part of my body that gets stripped of its cell salt is in the house of Aries, because that is my sun sign. So As an Aries, we will begin with Aries and we will go through each one of these zodiac signs. And I wanted to read you a quick poem. And this is the kind of the beginning of this book. And it talks about the transformational process that you go through when you start to resonate in the proper vibrations. And it results in the new name. So this is called The New Name. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and I will write upon him my new name. Revelation. And here it begins. Man struggling up to the sunlight, up from the mire and clay, fighting through wars and jungles, and sometimes learning to pray. And sometimes a king with a scepter, and sometimes a slave with a hod. Some people call it karma, and others call it God. A beggar ragged and hungry, a prince in purple and gold, a palace gilded and garnished, a cottage humble and old. One's hopes are blighted and blooming, one gathers the ripened pod. Some call it fate or destiny, while others call it God. Glimmering waters and breakers, far on horizon's rim. White sails and seagulls glinting, away till sight grows dim. And shells spirit painted with glory, where seaweed beckons and nod. Some people call it ocean, and others call it God. Cathedrals and domes uplifting, spires pointing up to the sun, images and altars and arches, where kneeling and penance are done. From organs grand anthems are swelling, where the true and faithful plod. Some call it superstition, while others call it God. Visions of beauty and splendor, forms of a long-lost race, sounds of faces and voices from the fourth dimension of space. And through the universe boundless, our thoughts go lighting shod. Some call it imagination, and others call it God. Acids and alkalides acting, proceeding and acting again, operating, transmuting, fomenting, in throes and spasms of pain, uniting, reacting, creating, like souls passing under the rod. Some people call it chemistry, and others call it God. Vibration of etheric substance, causing light through regions of space, a girdle of something enfolding and binding together the race. And words without wires transmitted, Ariel, winged spirit sandaled and shod. Some call it electricity, and others call it God. Earth redeemed and made glorious, lighted by heaven within. Men and angels face to face, with never a thought of sin. Lion and lamb together, in flowers that sweeten the sod. Some of us call it brotherhood, and others call it God. And now the sixth sense is opened, and we have rent the veil. And we are no longer wander. We have ransomed the Holy Grail. Through all of life's phases and changes, along all the new paths to be trod, we will recognize only one power, one present, omnipotent God. Chemistry, alchemy. Now we will see So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And this is a poem, and was done with Dr. Casey. And he put this in the book because he thought it would be greatly appreciated by all of you who would love to read this. I love this poem. It's one of my most favorite I've ever read. And I've probably read it to you guys a couple times, and you may hear it again in the future because the new name is powerful. And I love, love, love this reading. And I thought I would share it with you guys, and I hope it resonates as well. So after we got into an introduction of biochemistry, we will begin next with Aries. And I will try to get through as many of these as I can today, guys. My crazy work week starts very soon, but I will do as much as I can and get as much out as I can as fast as I can, because I know all of you will want your signs and want to know what part of that is attached to your signs. So I love you guys. Much love. And I'll show you guys the cell salts on the next video too, so you can actually get them if you would like to, because I love them and I take them all the time. It's part of keeping my minerals in my system. And you know, I'm very honored and blessed because you know, I'm 50, and I have nothing that needs medication. My body is running very well. I have no blood pressure, no cholesterol, no nothing. Everything is wonderful. All of my toxin levels are good. All of my blood levels are good. Every time I go to the doctor, they're like, "You're 50 and you still have all your teeth and you're not medicated?" Wow. So with that, guys, I can only say that it has to be because I've been using a lot of support with food and vitamins and minerals throughout my life, because I don't have a perfect lifestyle. I don't have a perfectly clean lifestyle. I am definitely not perfect in any sense of the measure. So with that, don't think, oh, I probably don't have anything to work on. No, we all have stuff to work on. So I'm definitely not perfect, and I have my flaws as well. And this has been, for me, how I keep my foundation strong. And once we get into these different 12 principles of these cell salts and how they're attached into the wheel of the Zodiac, which is basically your soul's ID card in this realm, because this is your identification wheel. Yeah, it's your ID. So pay attention to your ID, and we'll get into it. We'll learn more about what we are. And I think this is the biggest mystery, is what is it really to be what is it to be a human, and what does it mean to be a human? I think we've got a lot to learn when it's coming to actually, what are we? That's beyond what we can see. So we're going to be learning a lot together, and I hope you guys find this as fascinating as I did. It changed my world, and it helped me get onto a very solid practice of good health. And I am very grateful for my holistic practitioner, who literally, at a time in my life when they had said there wasn't any hope for me, he gave me hope. And this was part of my treatment program that he put me on. So I am eternally grateful for the wisdom and the introduction within my body of these beautiful salts for our cells. So I love you, Soul Tribe. I'll get a next one out soon for you, and we will begin with Aries, and we will go through the wheel together. I love you. See you soon. Bye.